Welcome back into another basketball preview video, our very last preview video as far as basketball goes. And this one, we'll take a look at the Dunkerton boys. So the Dunkerton girls video just went up prior to this one. All the other schools in the area that we cover at KWay, they too have gone up. So you can find all of those videos on my Twitter, Taylor from KWay, Taylor from KWAY. Or you can find them on YouTube, search for Taylor Knits, and the videos will be all right there. Now, these videos have been fairly popular and pretty successful, and so I am thinking about continuing this sort of thing into other, between seasons of other sports. I don't know how feasible it's going to be in some of them, specifically like spring to summer, but if they continue to be popular, and if you would like to see these continue, definitely let me know. But without any further ado, let's jump into this Dunkerton boys basketball team. This is one of my favorites. This is one of my favorite teams to watch the last couple of years because, they're just so fun. They want to go as fast as possible. They want to get up and down as quickly as possible. They want to score a ton of points. They want to turn you over. They want to get easy buckets. They want layups in transition. They want to create havoc. And it's just so much fun to watch. Now, is it fun to play against? I can't imagine that it's anything remotely close to fun to play against. But it is, it's just so much fun to watch. Now, broadcasting it can, at times, get a little bit difficult because they want to go so fast. But I absolutely enjoy it. I enjoy every minute of it. It's absolutely a blast. And, a bit earlier than I have said in other videos, I think that something similar that happened last year for Dunkerton may happen this year. Now, let's take a look back quickly at what happened for Dunkerton last year. They finished 22-3 on the year. They were one step away from the state tournament. They lost by just 2 points to Edco. I called that game. It was a great game. Early on, it looked like Dunkerton maybe would win it, would get out of there. But Edco, an outstanding team, they ended up winning that game 59-57, and it did eliminate Dunkerton, unfortunately, from postseason play again, just short of the state tournament. They scored nearly 68 points per game last year, did Dunkerton. The assist-to-turnover ratio is very good, 454 assists, which is a lot, by the way, to just 347 turnovers. That's good. That's fantastic. They pulled down 35.7 rebounds a game. They just had so many more possessions than most teams. They were able to get the rebounds up there a little bit because they weren't very big, and I don't think they're going to be particularly big this year on the glass, but it's just an effort thing. And just just an effort, want to type of deal there. And they went out and got just about 36 a game. They scored a lot more in the first quarter, or in the first half, I should say. And that goes down, I think, a lot to they just had put teams away by halftime. They had big leads at halftime because they just scored so quickly. They got the other team going way quicker than they wanted to go, and then you're right in Dunkerton's hands. At that point, they're going to blow you away because they're so much better at playing that style than you are, and so a lot of times they had things taken care of by halftime and didn't need to score as much. But the other thing I like about it is they started quickly. It's such an advantage to start quickly, get it going immediately from the jump. It's easy to say, it's much harder to do, and Dunkerton were very good at that aspect of things last year. So that's definitely a key for them. They averaged beating teams by 15, and I think in a number of those games they had leads that were much bigger than that, and maybe the other team came back late on to drive the deficit down a little bit. But they certainly are a team that can score the rock, and they'll be able to do it again this year. They do lose a number of seniors. By my count, 8. I think I've got 8 seniors down here on the roster that they lose, and then some of them are obviously going to be tougher to make up for than others. And most notably, Caleb Westendorf, an unbelievable athlete. He averaged 12 points a game last year. I mean, he shot 34, nearly 35% from beyond the arc. He shot 65% from the free throw line. He got to the free throw line more than anybody else on the team. He's going to be very difficult to make up for. Dalton Birch, maybe a bit of an unsung hero, Dalton Birch, last year, because he was the guy that was sort of in there to provide some semblance of size. He only stood about 6'1", maybe. I don't know if he's even that big. I don't know if that's even what he was listed at. That's kind of a guess on my part. He's not very big, but he still found a way to average 7.6 points a game. Just did the dirty work a lot of the time for Dunkerton, so he certainly will be missed. And Travis Shaky, another senior, an outstanding defender. He could score it a little bit as well. Averaged 5.3 points a game. So those three in particular will be very, very tough to make up for. In fact, they were numbers 2 through 4 as far as rebounding goes. And so, yeah, they're going to be very tough to make up for. But Dunkerton definitely have some players back that they will be relying upon. Most notably, Zach Johnson. Not the golfer, Zach Johnson. Also not the Zach Johnson from Tripola, who graduated last year. This is a different Zach Johnson. Zach Johnson unto himself. 15.6 points a game, led the way last year. Super fun to watch, super smooth. Really, really fun, as I mentioned, to watch. He shot 213 three-pointers, made 72 of them, so he can knock it down from beyond the arc. About 34%, that is. I think that percentage may go up a bit more this year. He can get to the rim as well. He's a really, really good player, Zach Johnson. And he'll be joined by fellow senior and a kid that scored basically as much as he did in Brady Hopple. He averaged right about 15 points a game last year. The fact that you've got those two back from that team last year is huge, because they're going to be able to run what they ran last year, really, for the most part, because you've got two guys. If you had just the one coming back from that last team, it'd be much harder to run that sort of stuff. But they've got two guys who are definitely in it often. And also you've got a kid like Brady Stone, who's an excellent athlete. A very, very good athlete. You throw him in, and yes, he's not the same type of player as Caleb Westendorf, but now you've got sort of that three-man, that three-headed monster with Johnson, Hopple, and Stone, who can just wreak havoc, create turnovers, get into the front court in quick, easy layups. That's what they want to do, and those three kids are probably going to be able to do that. On the glass, it was Hopple who led the team last year with 5.8 rebounds a game. Johnson had 3.3, Stone 3.1. Those numbers probably all going to have to go up a little bit just to make up for those three that they do miss. We'll have to see what other players are able to contribute in that fashion. Hopple and Johnson, by the way, also were top 2 in assists last year for Dunkerton. That's key. And we already talked about the ability to force turnovers. Hopple, by the way, 26 blocked shots led the team as well. It's about 1 a game, which is pretty impressive. The big question, I've already hit on it a couple of times. Who steps up to provide sort of those support roles, so the support system roles, if you will, for those stars in Johnson, Hopple, and Stone? You look to players, maybe it's Riley Tissue. He's a kid that averaged 1.2 points a game last year as a sophomore. He's now a junior. Brody Rigel, I'm not, I don't know. There's some players down there that just didn't see a whole lot of playing time last year that maybe they can step it up and take over for some of those players that are moving on, or at least fill the minutes that way. That's the biggest question, without any doubt, any stretch of my imagination. The biggest question mark for Dunkerton on the boys' side is who's going to be sort of that next group to fill in the spaces left behind. That's what I'll be very, very interested to find out. I think Dunkerton are going to have a very, very successful season once again this year. I'm very excited to get some looks at them again this year. I guess let's jump into the ratings. 1 would be a team that I think is a state title contender. A 2 is a state tournament contender. A 3 is a team that's looking to just win more games than lose and see how their draw turns out in postseason play. And a 4 would be a team that is rebuilding. And I've got this Dunkerton team as a solid, very solid 2. I think this is a team that, again, it's going to come down to their draw a little bit, but I think they're a team that should expect to be at the state tournament or thereabouts. I think, if they were to go out early, if they were to get bounced in the first or second round, I think that would be a disappointment. Now, I think that, the coaches will tell you, and they have to tell you that no matter, where they go out in postseason play, as long as they got better and had fun, then that season was successful. They're not altogether wrong, but I think the talent on this Dunkerton team and just sort of the cohesion that I've seen from this squad, I think that anything short of, being a step away from the state tournament at the very least would be a bit of a letdown. Now, I don't even know that they're going to be as good as they were last year. I don't know if they're going to. I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't know if they're going to be as good. They may not need to be as good. I think that last year's team was certainly a state tournament type caliber team that just unfortunately things didn't go quite the way they wanted to in that one game against Edco, and that's the deal with postseason play in just about every sport in the state of Iowa. But I think that these players that went through that last year and come back this year, I think that's going to be key. That experience is going to be huge, and the fact that they've been through it a couple of years now, I think that's going to be huge. I really, really like this Dunkerton team. If you happen to be a Dunkerton fan and you're thinking, do I want to go to Dunkerton games this year? Yes, you do. The girls will be plenty entertaining enough. The boys will be extremely entertaining. You definitely will want to go watch both the boys and the girls this year. Absolutely. When we've got their games on K-Way, make sure you tune into them. You can even bring your headphones and your phone. We've got a free K-Way app you can listen to at the game. Plug in your headphones and listen to me broadcast the games. I absolutely suggest that you do that. If there happens to be a game that we're broadcasting that you can't get to, then definitely tune in for us. We will have a number of Dunkerton games, as well as all the other schools that you heard from throughout this series of preview videos that we did. We will have a number of their games this winter on the K-Way airways for you, so stay tuned to K-Way for that. But that's going to do it for me here in this one. I thank you for watching this video and the other ones that you were able to take in. Again, if you missed any of them, you can find them over on my Twitter, Taylor from K-Way. And until next time, I'm Taylor Nitz. Okay, bye.